Hey, thanks for checking in. Today we're going to talk about the obligations of a sponsor or a co-sponsor in an immigrant petition. So one of the forms that you'll see when you're filing is called the Form I-864, also known as the Affidavit of Support. A lot of people look at it as just another form. It is in fact a contract, and it's a contract that survives marriage or even the main relationship that granted the person the immigrant visa. So you've actually got to be a little bit careful as a sponsor when you're signing it and what you're thinking of, particularly co-sponsors. So you may remember from another blog where I talked about how you calculate the income for an affidavit of support. Well, let's just say the person doesn't quite reach that number and you need to bring a co-sponsor in. This is when this applies. So the co-sponsor is actually on the hook for as much as the responsibility as the main sponsor as the co-sponsor. So the first thing we need to understand is A, that it's a contract, and that B, when does the contract finish? So typically it's either 10 years when the person becomes a citizen, which could either be 3 or 5 years depending upon the visa they come in on, or obviously if the person dies. Okay, so what's the effect of the affidavit of support? Well, it really affects the ability of the immigrant in gaining means-tested income. So the government is meant to look at the household member or the co-sponsor's income when they look at whether the immigrant is entitled to means-tested income. The other thing it could create an issue for is that if the government does in fact give them means-tested income, they can actually go to the co-sponsor or the sponsor to get that money back. Quite unusual, but it's in there and they can do it. The other thing that's quite interesting is that the immigrant could actually sue the petitioner or the sponsor to take care of them if they no longer have the means to take care of themselves. So there's quite a few things to keep in mind when you're signing an I-864, and interestingly enough, I get a lot of calls about it. You know, hey, my brother-in-law needs someone to co-sponsor him for his visa. What should I do? And honestly, you want to help your family members out, but I just like to educate people. It's most of the time there's no problem at all, but you really need to know what you're signing here. It's a contract. Think of it as co-signing on a house. A little less serious, but all the same, take it seriously. Read through the document. I've put a link below this which goes straight to the government's website where you can actually see what they're talking about. Check it out. If you've got any questions, just don't hesitate to call or give our office a ring. Thanks.